Alright gang, today's video is going to be slightly different. I just want to talk about the update that happened the other day. I've really kind of been putting it off. Just to get straight to the point, absolutely the worst update. Not even just update, like the worst chain of events for Call of Duty that I think we've ever had. Personally, in my opinion, I mean, I've been playing for like, what, 15, 20 years? My entire life I've been playing Call of Duty. And I don't think I've ever been as disappointed as I was for the past couple days. I mean, as you all know, Warzone 2 has already kind of been, not even kind of, it's a basket case. Like, it is not the best game. It's hard to play. It's already like struggling. And then we get this big announcement, hey, we have an update coming, and it's being backed. You know, everyone's getting really pumped for it, getting really excited for it. And then the update comes out and we're playing the exact same game. There are no changes. They kept talking about movement changes, sliding, mantling, you know, all these, you dive and you can shoot faster, all this stuff, and it was so lackluster. I mean, they dressed it up, they used the word fluid like 1,000 times, and it's, if anything, it feels less fluid, man. It doesn't feel good to me at all, and it was just a huge letdown. But I think the biggest thing right now that's tough as a creator, seeing other like creators, especially large creators, obviously I'm a small creator, but large creators receiving death threats, getting all this hate. I mean, Twitter's like an all-out war right now. It's a legitimate war zone right now with just hate and negativity and all. It's making it really hard to want to keep doing this, which I'm not saying I'm not going to. Your boy's here. I make this content. I love making this content. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I'm sorry it's one of these. I have plenty of videos to be ripping, but today I just kind of wanted to talk to each of you and let you know, like, the game is falling apart, like, in front of us. It's happening. Now, I think the most concerning thing for me is to think, if this is actually a 2-year title, if this game is supposed to carry on for the next 2 years, there's no way, brother. Like, in this current state, there's no way. Even if they were to drop Verdansk, like, with the current game, that will not save this game. As bad as I want Verdansk back, that won't save the game. You know, you can't polish a turd. At the end of the day, it'd be like when Ashika Island came out. I love Ashika Island. Like, the map is phenomenal. I love the map. I wish I could have played the map with the legit Call of Duty feel, with very fluid movement, very fast pacing, but we don't have that luxury. You know, if they were to give us Verdansk right now, with the current setup of the game, it's still gonna feel horrible. It's still gonna run clunky. There's so many core mechanics of the game that just aren't there right now. You know, and I feel like with how much the developers have kind of preached at us, oh, you know, we need feedback, community feedback, we're listening, and they're not. There's no listening going on. And I think there's a fine line on that topic of listening to the community. There's a fine line, clearly, of sweaty players like myself and casual players. I don't care what you are. I mean, if you're casual, sweaty, I mean, as long as you're having fun. That's the whole point. It's a video game. We're playing a video game that we all love and care about. But if the developers keep going back and forth like, oh, maybe we're going to cater for casual, but with sweaty, they just keep going in circles, the problem's never going to get fixed. At the end of the day, if they want this problem to be fixed, they're going to have to just pick one and roll with it. And if they decide to go with the more casual approach, that doesn't mean make the UI horrible. That doesn't mean make the game clunky. That doesn't mean make the game slow. It's unbelievable. I'm not sitting here saying bring back slide canceling. I would consider that on the sweaty spectrum. You know, having to click 3 buttons to really zoom around the map, obviously that's a skill gap. I like that, I prefer that. But if there's no slide cancel, that's one thing. But if the game's just not fluid, what are we even doing? If you go back and play like OG MW 2, like I'm talking 2009, the game is going to feel smoother than this title. This game feels as close to playing Battlefield as it gets, and that is the reason I'm not a Battlefield fan, is because it's a clunky game. It plays slow and groggy. It's drooling. That's why Firestorm and all these different things Battlefield tried just absolutely failed. I play Call of Duty because it's an arcadey shooter. Of course it has realism to it, and that's fun, that's nice, but it's an arcadey shooter. We're talking about the company that revolutionized Team Deathmatch, Domination, Search and Destroy. They revolutionized these game modes to where everybody knows the game for those modes. Even before, before Warzone, that was their bread and butter. For what, 17 years? 16 years? I mean, that's outrageous. So to think that they have this new door open up for them 3 years ago now with Warzone, and they fumbled it all, they threw it all away for DMZ. I mean, that was outrageous. And it's so embarrassing to watch these events of these developers like, oh, we had so much fun playing DMZ, it was so exhilarating. It's not at all, and I'm telling you, I love Call of Duty. This isn't me saying I hate COD. I don't hate the devs. I just think there should be better communication with everybody, so it's not so oriented on one side. And the competition between titles that aren't Call of Duty, they took a risk with the Battle Royale. This is where I'm gonna go. They did Blackout, and Blackout was a hit, but Warzone was the true hit. I think what made Warzone a hit was the loadout factor. Playing Call of Duty, the best part about it, in my opinion, is you use your own guns. You customize them, you throw the camos on, and you make it how you want it, and you rip with them. It's fun. It's always been fun for that. And, Blackout, you had to build you had to pick up all the parts, build it as you go. It was fun. I played a lot of it. Trust me, I was like Max Prestige. I loved it. But having a loadout was huge. So that leap into the BR space, that was a risk, but it worked out. Now, when you start thinking about games like Escape from Tarkov, Marauders, these loot and shooters that are on PC, they're nitty gritty, hyper realistic. They have all the lean mechanics. If you get shot in the arm, if you get wounded, you're having to use a tourniquet to stop bleeding. I mean, they're extremely realistic. That's a thrill. That is a genuine thrill. And for Call of Duty to say, hey, I think we can do this with DMZ, and then just absolutely come out with the biggest, I don't even know how to explain it. It's easy. It's super duper easy. The reward's not worth anything. It's not like there's a huge currency system. It's not like you're getting, millions of dollars to build these crazy kits and it's just not, it's not there. But what I'm getting at with all of this I just said, DMZ was on the developers' minds. 100% was on their minds going into this new title, and Warzone was built around that. That's why Warzone's so slow. That's why the game's so clunky. They focused this new gamble, and hey, I can't be mad at them for trying. I mean, DMZ could have been the biggest hit in the world. It could have been massive, which would have been awesome. It's awesome when these companies try new things. But if you're gonna take this risk, don't mess up what was already successful. Why would you change the recipe for the biggest title arguably in the world with Warzone? Why would you mess that up by throwing in all these twists on a gamble? It's just, at a business standpoint, it makes no sense. On a fun standpoint, it definitely makes no sense. And in terms of just being a true Call of Duty fan, for your community, it makes no sense to throw a gamble of perfection at your fans, at all of us, the people who make content, play the game nonstop, talk about it. I feel like that was a cheap shot, and especially with this update, man. This update just it was the last straw for me. I'm definitely gonna continue to still make content for you guys, but just know I'm not happy with Warzone right now, and it's really hard. And we'll probably do a lot more multiplayer content. The multiplayer filmed up to was phenomenal. They really did a great job with the multiplayer. I'll give them that. I thought it was great, but Warzone it really fell through the cracks this year. It did, and there's got to be a huge change. I think another really irresponsible mistake they made, they connected multiplayer and Warzone through the same engine. See, in the last title, in Warzone 1, it was 2 separate engines. So you can make a huge change to Warzone. It's not going to affect multiplayer, and vice versa. And that's the beauty of that, because right now, here's what you got to think about. If they start affecting Warzone heavy, they're going to affect ranked play for multiplayer. And they've already shot themselves in the foot by saying, oh, well, we got ranked play coming out with Season 3 Reloaded. Well, what? They come out with all the movement changes for Warzone Ranked, and now everyone has to kind of learn the new movement system? It makes no sense. It's like they keep backing themselves in a corner. I think if they took their time, they took more time to focus their titles, and they didn't focus on such silly aspects like DMZ. I'm telling you, that is like, played COD my whole life. I'd rather play the extraction mode on Ghost than play DMZ. And if you played that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those aliens, dog. It was absolutely outrageous. It was chopped. But DMZ was such a flop, dude. And the only people out here playing DMZ are the people who cannot actually do anything in multiplayer and in battle royales. There's no shot. Like, DMZ it's a joke, man. And they need to take it on the chin, accept, okay, hey, this wasn't the move. This, you know, until they can come back and say, this is extremely hard, go for it. It's not for the faint of heart. Enjoy it. Your heart will be racing when you are done with your raid, because you have so much valuable stuff on you and you work so hard to get it. Don't come back with it. And that's the truth of the matter. If you keep catering this game to the little kids and these casual gamers for a game mode that's supposed to be exhilarating, it's never gonna work. Warzone, on the other hand, you can make that for everybody. That's fine. Look at Fortnite. They made the game accessible to everybody. And you want to talk skill gaps? I mean, oh my god. Fortnite is one of the biggest skill gaps in the game with building, yet it's one of the most successful battle royales of all time. So I don't want to hear anything about movement skill gaps. And I mean, just make the game competitive. And if you're going to make a thrill-seeking title, make it absolutely exhilarating. I want to physically be shaking when I'm done with my raid going, that was so hard. Oh my god, I did that. I want that rush, that adrenaline spike. If I'm playing thrill-seeking, I want thrill-seeking. But when I play DMZ on baby, my feet are on the desk, I'm laid back, one earphone off, probably chatting with a buddy, sitting there doing what, it's simple. It's child's play, get it out of here. Gang, that's my rant. Look, maybe we see a big turnaround here soon. Realistically, if I had to guess, this game will probably be halfway decent by season 5. But only time will tell. Hopefully we have a leak here soon on a new title. We'll have to see. Other than that, gang, I will catch you all tomorrow with actual gameplay. We'll get back to normal business. But I had to make this PSA. Look, I love the Greasy Gang. I love the content. I love the channel. I love Call of Duty. We're good. But just know, it's like I told y'all a few weeks back. It's not fair to you guys if I'm holding all this back. So that's where we're at. I'm done rambling. I'm tired. I'll catch y'all tomorrow for another heater. Let's get it, gang.